And we are continuing our NBA team previews right here at the Lakers Fast Break. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for joining us. Please like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when the next NBA team preview comes up. Well, we got a great one right here because we're heading to Giannis land, a.k.a. Milwaukee, and here to go ahead and cover the Milwaukee Bucks. An excellent writer indeed. I've been checking out his work for the Sporting News, and of course on SI with Sports Illustrated, covering many teams, including the Milwaukee Bucks. It is Alex Kirschenbaum. Alex, great to have you on the program.
Great to be ahead. Good to talk to you, Gerald.
All right, great. I will say the cap management skills of the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm here in Las Vegas. I've been here for the past a little over a quarter century. I started out in SoCal. My affinity for Lakers is there. But one of the things I go to every year is Summer League. And one of the things that they do in Summer League, they have a course for prospective individuals that want to go ahead and become a part of the NBA at the GM level, at a player personnel level, scouting, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not sure that's the way they would teach that class, the way that the Milwaukee Bucks are managing their cap space. It is interesting. It is outside the box. And obviously, it's all started with Damian Lillard sustaining that Achilles tear in the playoffs last year. Then he goes and gets released, waived, and stretched over the course of the next 5 years. And they allow that kind of money under the cap still to be able to sign Myles Turner. How did you first perceive this interesting and different outside the box way of managing your salary cap when you first heard about it?
Speaking of Vegas, yeah, it's a huge gamble, right? Clearly, John Horst is the Bucks GM. He's thinking about the immediate future. He wants to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo happy as long as he possibly can. As soon as Damian Lillard went down, it was clear that was the Bucks' best trade chip. And when he gets hurt, he's no longer an asset. He is a depreciated asset. They probably have to give up something to get off of that money, the $112.6 million he was owed over 2 years. And now they're going to pay him $22.5 million a year to not play for them for the next 5. But yeah, I think it was really risky. I do like that he did it though, because the alternative is what? The alternative is sitting on that money and just trotting out kind of the same team, making some sort of like peripheral moves around the fringes of the roster, like the Cole Anthony signing, which I thought was actually pretty good, the Gary Harris signing, which I think is kind of useless, and then re-signing some of their own guys or whatever. But well, actually, they had another sign that we can talk about later, but that I liked. But I think the Turner thing is interesting. Turner's a huge upgrade over what Brook Lopez is now. He's much more mobile. Maybe you could say Lopez is a better man-to-man defender, but Turner is better on switches. He's much more mobile. He's a rim rolling kind of guy. I think he's going to fit really well with Giannis defensively in the front court there. So talented guy. He's 29. So have we seen the best of him, or roughly, does he have like all-star potential on a roster where he's going to be featured more offensively? Probably. I don't really think so, but I think it's a cool risk. I do like it, even though doesn't elevate them to the level of probably the 2 top contenders in the East, the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and maybe even that like tier right below them, the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic, right? But they're sort of in that middle where they're probably above a play-in team, I think, because they have Giannis Antetokounmpo still. They're in that sort of like Miami Heat range, I would say 5-6 kind of seed.
I'll say this: when it comes to Myles Turner, I've spoken to a few Indiana Pacers fans, and they said, well, your mileage may vary with Myles Turner. You saw there's some in and out games during the course of the finals, sometimes where he really locked in on Holmgren, and some just times that he just seemed like he was just going through the motions at times during that course. And I think you're seeing Myles Turner pretty much essentially who he might be at this point. I understand a lot of people were talking about how his rim protection per se has not been what it once was. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to be adequate because he's got one of the best help defenders in the league.
Right.
In Antetokounmpo right there to back him up. With 2 7-footers you roll out there with athleticism and size and the ability with Turner to stretch the floor, I do think as well that is a good fit for Milwaukee.
Yeah, totally. I think, and yeah, maybe, I guess when he was leading the league in blocks those 2 years, he averaged 3.4 blocks and 2.7
Yes.
blocks. So like that's crazy. Last year was 2. The year before that was 1.9. So, you know, whatever. I don't know if that's a reflection necessarily on a decline in athleticism or it's just the way the more egalitarian Rick Carlisle defense is now. He wasn't at the rim as much. So I don't know, but he was erratic in the finals. He was pretty good in the East playoffs. But when they got to the finals against a better team, he was exposed a little bit. So I don't know. I think he'll beat up on the mediocre East teams. And then it's a huge question mark when it comes to the playoffs, the consistency, I suppose. But yeah, I think it's a worthwhile risk in a vacuum. I think it's a weird move. It's a desperate move, but it's a fun move. And I like that they didn't do nothing. I like that they took a swing.
But you're right on that. They are a team, I don't want to say desperation has set in and trying to do anything they can to keep Giannis in Milwaukee, but it certainly looks like it. I think the Thanasis Antetokounmpo signing, I think was pretty much the exclamation point on him at least staying this season. It's like, Thanasis is like wherever Thanasis goes, it's like, oh, will Giannis follow? Will Giannis be there? Well, he's on Milwaukee now, which again, having him there probably means that Giannis is not going anywhere anytime soon. So that's a sigh of relief for Milwaukee fans indeed. So tell me about the rest of the team then around those two guys, because that's where it gets interesting. I know that hopefully one of the signings that you like that went under the radar was one of the last signings that went out as far as free agency in Amir Coffey, someone that I was hoping that the Lakers would pick up, but chose not to. Had a decent year, shot 40% from 3. A lot of people are questioning whether or not he can play D. I think he's got enough athleticism that where he can be a little bit better on D. And again, if you're playing alongside those two guys, if you're providing some spacing, that might be the key, because as much as I enjoyed watching Kyle Kuzma, as much as I loved watching him when he was with the Lakers, I really don't know what to make of him since.
Yeah, he's been rough, has Kyle Kuzma. I thought it was an okay risk when they brought him over, and he put up okay numbers in the regular season. His three-point shooting has never been that consistent anyway, and it wasn't great in Milwaukee. He made like a third of his 4.6 triple tries in his games with the Bucks. But then in the playoffs, fell off a cliff. Just couldn't. He was like unplayably bad on both ends of the floor. It was crazy. Amir Coffey is the guy I was talking about. He is signed to an Exhibit 9 training camp contract, so it's not even guaranteed that he's going to make the roster. Right now, they actually have technically 16 guys on their 15-man standard roster. They have Andre Jackson Jr. on like a partially guaranteed deal, but they could waive one of the recent draft picks for not much money and bring in Coffey and or Jackson. I was really surprised that another team didn't pick up Coffey on like a guaranteed veteran minimum kind of contract, because he was pretty good for the Clippers. Yeah, that was weird to me. You see some of these other signings and you're thinking, well, what? Like with Giannis Antetokounmpo, there was, favoritism there, but other teams too, you just like the Knicks have a couple standard roster spots. Like he would be a good fit on them, shoring up that perimeter off the bench. So for the Bucks, I thought, he could be better than Taurean Prince and Kyle Kuzma like right now. I'm a little surprised that he has to fight for a roster spot. But then again, I don't know, he put up almost 10 points, shooting 40.9% from deep on 3.4 tries a game, pretty good off the catch. And on a 50-win Clippers team last year. Like, that's no small feat. When he played 72 games, it's not like this was a two-way player or something. This is a standard roster guy last year on a good team. So, yeah, I don't understand what happened, but yeah, the Bucks are lucky to have him, and I hope that they keep him. I think their perimeter and their backcourt are the two big question marks, right? Like, Kuzma thing, he's making $22 million a year or something like that, and I don't 22.4. I don't understand. I don't. It's going to be tough, right, to get off of that money. You have to attach some underpaid guy, like a Gary Trent or someone who signed to a minimum in a trade. But yeah, I think Torian Prince was a fine pickup. I think Gary Trent had a really good playoffs. Kevin Porter Jr. too. Once Doc Rivers like tinkered with his starting rotation in Game 5, and he went more athletic. He had Porter as the starter. He had Trent as the starter. He had Bobby Portis as a starter over Brook Lopez, alongside Giannis. I thought that was good. They benched Kuzma, put in Prince. I think like that kind of stuff. The athleticism and the downhill stuff is interesting. Like they're an athletic team now, especially with Turner in there over Lopez, who went to the Clippers. I think, I think, I'm not saying Trent or Porter will ever be an all-star, but those are interesting pickups. I like Cole Anthony too. He gives you a little bit more handling, in the absence of Lillard. I'm kind of surprised he's available at the minimum. That's a bit of a steal there too. So they have some interesting pieces, right? They're not ready to win anything right now, but you can find a way to flip. Like they have a bunch of these point guards. Like they have Ryan Rollins. They have Kevin Porter Jr., who's effectively a point, but he can play the two. And they have Cole Anthony. So like you don't need all three of those guys. So theoretically, you can throw in one of those contracts as a sweetener for getting off the Kuzma money, and you flip some second-round picks or something, and maybe you can get like a little depth back, or an upgrade at the point or something. But yeah, their two big weaknesses are perimeter defense and just creativity, ball handling, playmaking at the point of attack. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I was really bummed to see them trade Chris Middleton, who was a fan favorite, but he's obviously fallen off from where he was in his three-time All-Star prime. Fun player, and just couldn't stay healthy. So that's what happens with an older roster. I don't know. It's a weird year, and the Bucks have the best player in the Eastern Conference probably. So they can, this current team right now could probably win a playoff round with some lucky breaks. Because people forget, they were not healthy in the playoffs the last 2 seasons when they got booted in the first round, or actually the last 3 seasons, come to think, because Giannis missed some games in 2023 as well. And he missed all of the 2024 playoffs. And Lillard missed 2 games in 2024, and then Lillard missed most of 2025. So it's possible with the right matchup they could win a round right now, but not more than that. So they need to do something else. But yeah, I like Trent as a scorer. He's a kind of undersized 2, but he can get hot, when they feed him. Like he had 33 points, I think twice in the playoffs last year against the Pacers in the 5-game series. So there's something there, if Dr. Rivers can unlock it and they can keep people healthy.
The thing I want to ask, though, is, again, because you talk about the question marks in the backcourt and at the wing positions as far as what they have and what could be, maybe, possibly, as far as the outcome, as far as that's concerned, as far as the 1, 2, and 3 position. But there's no doubt when it comes to the 4 position, Giannis Antetokounmpo, like you said, very well may be the best person and the best player, in the Eastern Conference. I've had this discussion over the past few days because people, as we're recording this, the EuroLeague is starting to wind down a little bit, and some upsets have already happened. And a lot of people have gone on our chat praising Giannis as the best player in the world because I saw what happened to Jokic and whatnot. I'm saying to myself that, yes, Giannis, the numbers are there. They're absolutely great. When he's right, when he's healthy, he is absolutely one of the best players in the league. And you're talking about similar to what maybe a situation that Luka might be in, where you have this one definitive mercurial player that a team that maybe is not the most skilled has to rely on quite a bit. So how much do you think they are going to rely on with Giannis Antetokounmpo this season? What does he have to do to bring this team any kind of success?
It's tough, right? I think the big thing is putting the ball in his hands as a passer a little bit more, which they did a little bit last year, especially like that a closing kick where they won their last 8 straight games in the regular season. He was just on fire. He was scoring and passing. And he's gotten better because he used to be the kind of guy who would, he would drive, he would go downhill, get in the lane, and then he would look to pass out to a shooter. But now he can do a little bit more table setting offensively as a passer. He's not the kind of passing forward that like LeBron James is or whatever, or even Jimmy Butler, but he's better at that, at initiating a little bit. You still need more of a primary handler that can offset some of that. But I think they're probably going to try to do more like point Giannis stuff. That's what I would advise. I mean, he averages like 5 or 6 assists a year, and he has since 2018-19. So, he's capable of doing it to an extent. I think that's going to be a bit of a shift. And then I don't know. He stopped even trying to shoot threes a while ago. His best 3-point shooting season, he shot 30% on almost 5 attempts. That was years ago. So he did win the MVP that year. But I don't know. He's still an athletic super freak in the open court. He averaged 30 and 11 the last 3 seasons, and still a great scorer, if not a good shooter beyond like the post. So I think probably getting him to set up other people a little bit more is probably like the first order of business for them. That could be like a bit of a shift from what his traditional role has been on the roster. I don't know. It's frustrating because he's so good, and he really needs a little bit of defensive help on the perimeter. He can only do so much. He can only be so many places at once. So, like you said, very good help defender. And he needs help too. He needs more backcourt defense or something so that he can focus a little bit more on the scoring too. I mean, the guy that scores 30 points a game is weird to say he needs more scoring help, but I think him setting other people up a little bit more, it will be the big shift at first. And we'll see how Turner plays into that too. I'm curious about Turner being set up for threes from the corners and all that kind of stuff.
So the thing I've asked every guest so far to this point, and we'll continue to ask, is if everything goes right, where do you see the Bucks as far as how far they go this season? You said already, if everything goes right during your first part of our conversation, if everything goes right, you're saying a second round is probably at the best and probably at the peak. Is that correct?
With the current roster, yes. I think they do have enough assets so they could make a trade and, with a little injury luck on another team or whatever, they could probably sneak into the conference finals the way like the 2019 Trailblazers did. Something like that. With a trade. The current roster, no. Current roster, yes, second round, kind of a 4 or 5 seed, I guess would be the ceiling, 48 to 50 wins, kind of, everything goes right. Giannis has not been super healthy recently. I mean, he played 67 games, it's fine. He played 73 games the year before, but year before that, I mean, he was hurt in the playoffs in 2024 and 2023. And he missed, 20-ish games, 15, 20 games the last couple of years with, injuries, and he has had trouble staying healthy through the playoffs. So that's a bit of a red flag. And if he misses, let's say he gets hurt early in the year, and they had a terrible start to the year last year while Doc Rivers sort of messed with the lineup. So let's say they go to 5 and 10 to start, or 5 and 15 to start, something crazy. What happens then in mid-December? Do they panic? Does Giannis try to force a trade then? I don't know. But I think there is a risk of things going bad quickly if they get off to a slow start. So
I'll ask this. It's a little different than I'm asking my other guests. I already asked you what if it went right, and you already indicated that. What if everything went not as planned? Does that change the thinking as far as Giannis, as far as the assets that you do have on the team? What happens if it doesn't go as planned in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I think with the big issue is Giannis's health. If Giannis gets hurt early and or Doc Rivers doesn't have the right starting lineup in place early, if they're at if they're 10 games below 500 in, let's say, early January, I think there's a possibility that Giannis pulls the ripcord and says, trade me. So that's the absolute worst case scenario for John Horst, the GM, and for the Bucks in general. So, although honestly, I don't think, hot take, I guess, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, because Giannis Antetokounmpo is an amazing player, and you can get a lot of the draft equity back that you lost trying to surround him with quality help. You can get a lot of that back. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if he does demand a trade. You can get a lot of first-round picks. Now, we're not going to talk about the Luka Doncic trade because that was crazy, but a better trade with the smarter partner, you can get several first-round picks back. You can get swaps back, second-rounders, maybe a couple good young pieces, whatever. So, and honestly, like, if the season is terrible, it would not be the worst-case scenario in the world for the Bucks if they do the right Giannis trade. So even if it goes bad, honestly, I don't think it's a terrible, terrible situation for Milwaukee. But in the short term, it'd be a bummer for Bucks fans to lose sort of the most important player in Bucks history, I guess, or him and Kareem, 1A, 1B. But yeah, it'd be sad to see him go, but it's tough to really see this team winning much of anything during the rest of his prime, if we're being realistic. So if they do the right trade, it could still work out okay. Like I don't know, Rockets or something like that. Some team with a lot of assets and a lot of interesting young pieces.
OKC, that would be very unfair there.
Oh my God, that's true. Oh, they have a lot of picks. That's true.
They still have the most assets out of anyone right now in the NBA. That's the scary part.
Wow, more than the Jazz. That's crazy.
Yep, I still think they have more number ones than anyone. I still think I believe they do, if I'm not mistaken, and plus a bevy of young assets as well.
Yeah, right. Like if it's like Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren, one of those two guys for Giannis, and then a bunch of picks. I don't even know that the Thunder would try to do that though. They probably, I mean, the Bucks would ask, but the Thunder have other young guys that are interesting, and then a lot of first, like you say. From teams that are going to be bad too, not just like I think they still have a couple of Clippers picks, right? So the Clippers are good now, but what happens with Kawhi, whatever, a couple years from now, not so much. So that's a good point. Yeah,
just something to throw out there. Just thought I'd mention it, but definitely wanted to hear your side of it. Before we head on out, once again, it is Alex Kirschenbaum. Please go ahead and support what he's doing on both the Sporting News and Sports Illustrated on SI, covering a wealth of teams in the NBA. But before we head on out, I do ask all my guests that are doing these team previews your thoughts and analysis on the Los Angeles Lakers. It helps me formulate my own opinion because I love to hear people that are not followers or fans of the Los Angeles Lakers, but are followers of the NBA and how they perceive the Lakers and how they'll do this season. So I ask you, Skinny Luka, just finishing his time as we're recording this in Europe, finally easing the thoughts of Lakers fans that are kind of nervous that he was going to get hurt overseas, but he absolutely performed great while he was over there. Looking forward to seeing what he can bring the team. Of course, LeBron is there as well, age 41 season, still could do quite a bit, depending on exactly how well he is utilized during the course of the season. What do you see as far as the team, as far as what they can do in the Western Conference this upcoming season?
good question. I guess full disclosure, I do also contribute to the Lakers on SI site, so I do get to cover the Lakers as well. But I think the Skinny Luka thing is a real thing. You've seen how good he's looked. Speaking of the Eurobasket tournament this year, he's looked really good for Slovenia. They did lose to Greece today, but there's some question of how much ref interference there was in that narrow victory for Germany. Yeah. But yeah, so Doncic was playing for Slovenia, and I think he's going to be great. I think we're in revenge season territory. I'm excited to see it. He looks like 2018, 2019 Rookie of the Year Luka. He's an awesome player. I think people are sleeping on him a little bit. I don't, are they better than, let's say, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Houston Rockets, and the Denver Nuggets? I don't really think so. But could they be one of those teams in a playoff round? Like, maybe. Luka loves playing the Thunder, for instance. And then the Rockets, Durant's an injury risk always because he's 37 or about to be. He turns 37 this month. I forget when. And then in terms of the Nuggets, I like what they've done over the summer, but Jamal Murray is an injury risk too. So we'll have to see. I think they have a couple guys that are movable-ish. Gabe Vincent is an expiring contract for $11.5 million. And Austin Reeves is getting paid an absurdly low $13.9 million. And he has a player option for next season. So effectively, this could be his sort of expiring contract year. So that's kind of like the huge trade chip they have. I don't love them trying to trade Austin Reeves. I think they should try to play it out with him. But if someone becomes available, like if this Andrew Wiggins talk from Mark Stein, I should clarify. Mark Stein said that it's a possibility that that's the kind of player they want, like a 3-and-D wing kind of guy, which makes a lot of sense for them. But if he became available, is that what the Heat would want back? Because Austin Reeves is very similar to Tyler Hero in that specific instance. So I don't know, but something like that. If a quality wing becomes available to partner up with Doncic long term, I think that's worth considering. So I think they're a move away from really getting interesting, but I think as currently comprised, it's still going to be better than it was last year because they did not at the end of the year have a real center. They had Jackson Hayes. I can't believe they re-signed that guy. I don't understand why. JJ Redick didn't play him in the playoffs that much. By game 5, he was not playing at all. So maybe Kleber plays a little bit as the backup center. But DeAndre Ayton is a real guy. You think about 2021 Ayton, he was very impressive up until, speaking of Giannis Antetokounmpo, up until the finals, but through the Western Conference playoffs, he was really good on both sides of the ball. So that's a huge improvement. And then Jake Larivia is their sort of like cheaper Dorian Finney-Smith upgrade. I think that's okay. Marcus Smart, I don't like as a signing. I think he's cooked. He's 31. He's taking a lot of bumps and bruises over the years. He had trouble staying healthy the last 2 seasons with the Grizzlies and the Wizards. But he was the Defensive Player of the Year not that long ago. So who knows? I don't know. I mean, there's a possibility with that guy. And then maybe the young guys step up. Dalton Knecht looked rough at the end of the season last year. Wasn't playing in the playoffs. Bronny James seems still like he has some exciting upside, but I don't think he's going to hit that this year. But we'll see. So yeah, I really enjoy Rui Hachimura, but ultimately he is a power forward, and so is LeBron James. So that'll be interesting to see how they figure that out. But yeah, you figure like a Vanderbilt trade or a Vincent trade, even a Kleber trade, any of those guys, you could probably move. Vanderbilt, you're going to have trouble getting value for, but Vincent isn't expiring, so maybe you get some money back there. Or you can get an asset back there, I should say. So, yeah, I think that's a very, like, trade-friendly kind of roster going into the season. I guess the other big thing is LeBron James. He's on an expiring deal. He couldn't work out, like, a 1-on-1 contract with the Lakers because they want to have some cap maneuverability next summer. I think it's kind of a bummer. I think it'd be fun to see him retire as a Laker. And he's still really good. He was All-NBA second team last season. He played 70 games. He's still a really good offensive player. Yeah. He clearly got tired in the playoffs. And he said he got hurt, which, I mean, I believe the guy is 40. So I don't know. I just don't. I think the LeBron-Luka pairing is interesting. I think the LeBron-Luka-Reeves pairing is trouble. And so I don't know what the ceiling is. I don't know if they can really do it, but I'm interested to see. So yeah, and I'm excited for Luka. People are saying possible MVP season. I don't know. I mean, if they win 55 games and they're the 3 seed or something, and he puts up crazy numbers like 2023, 2024 Dallas Luka, certainly in play for sure.
I was not sold when that was first brought up as far as Mark Stein's report on Wiggins. I'm like, he might have seen better days when he was having his almost MVP-like performance in the finals. I thought that was the best of Andrew Wiggins you're ever going to get. Since then, off-the-court issues, personal reasons, injuries, things of that nature. He did play okay in Miami once he was traded to Miami, but for $30 million a year, roughly, do you want okay? Now, when somebody, because one of my co-hosts, Joe Sorrell, was really on that and was thinking about that, and he's fine with expirings and a first as long as you don't give up Austin or an existing playable asset. I wasn't sold on that, but I'm more sold if you throw in Norman Powell, who I believe is trade eligible, which is kind of different for someone that you sign over the course of the summer, but I believe he's trade eligible now. If that's the case, I would be more inclined to do so for the expirings. And instead of the one, you throw in Austin Reeves, because Austin Reeves, if all goes well and he throws another 18, 19, or 25-5 season, even if it means the Lakers get to the second round or whatnot, he's going to ask for a ton of cash. I mean, Josh Giddey just got 25 as we're recording this, 25 for 4 years. He's going to be, if his representatives are smart, they're going to be asking for more, a lot more. And I would really be hesitant if I was the Lakers to go ahead and commit to that. So I would be open to that as far as moving Reeves, but bringing back 2 players who could add to your rotation.
Interesting. Yeah, the Powell thing as a Reeves replacement makes sense. He's going to be ultimately cheaper. He's a little older. Reeves
but he's coming off his best season with the Clippers.
Yeah, and he's already like 32 or something, so it might have been his peak right there. But Reeves is a fringe all-star. I mean, so is Powell, actually, to be fair. So, I think that's a cool idea. They still would need to address the wing defense thing that they lost with Dorian Finney-Smith over the summer, but yeah, so that's why I like the Wiggins idea, because he can score a little bit.
But if you got both,
well, yeah. That's a lot of money, right? So that's I don't know what
that's $58 million.
I
did it. Okay. I did the math on it as far as the trade machines. You can make it work. It would have to be a 5-for-3 trade. You could probably send someone else like Triple J for Miami out. But it would be 5 players coming back on the Lakers as far as expirings, Dalton Connect, and Austin Reeves.
Okay. I mean, yeah, if it's both of them, then that's a cool idea. I think the Heat should probably think about it, because Reeves is the better asset if they're interested in him. I guess the one thing is, like, Reeves and Hero are similar players. They're sort of ball dominant, sort of combo guards, and they don't play a lot of defense. So I don't know, but right now Reeves is cheaper. Maybe they flip Hero. I don't know. Get crazy with it.
You might have to, especially with the way that the league is going right now. If you're in the Western Conference, it's very competitive. Eastern Conference, you do have your opportunities. So we'll have to wait and see how that works itself out. But Alex, it's been great talking Bucks with you. But before we head on out, it's what I call the cheap plug time. Go ahead and make sure you let everyone out there know what you're working on, where they can find your work, and how they can follow you.
Great. Thanks. I'm a contributor writer for Sporting News on SI and Newsweek. And you can follow me on Blue Sky at kirschhoops.bsky.social. And I also have a Bulls podcast, Bulls Bros. You can check it out anywhere you get your podcasts. And it was an honor to talk Bucks hoops with you, Gerald. And I'm looking forward to what the Lakers and Bucks do this year. So, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Great to have you on. And we might, at some point in time during the season, I'd love to bring you back on to talk Bucks, Bulls, NBA, anything you want to talk about, because absolutely would love to hear your thoughts on any team that you cover for the NBA. Of course. All right. Once again, Alex Kirschenbaum, truly appreciate you joining us and stopping by as we continue our team previews right here on the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.